In a vast landscape full of adventurers, you are now listening to the world of chaotic amateurs.
Welcome to Chaotic Amateurs, the internet's #1 D&D 5e play podcast. I'm your host and DM, Alex. With me today, I have
Milo is Ball.
And we are back doing our epilogues for the characters to finish off the Wolfpack campaign. Let the adventure begin. Been needing that. And now, the story of Ball. So, Ball has come to Usama initially as a side project, a way for the College of Storengrad to get rid of him for a bit, to send him to the far reaches of Haven and research things that they wanted some information about, but didn't need to send a whole crew for. What Ball found was a few people that were interesting in a place that was full of interesting things and a lot to explore, a lot to uncover, secrets to find, and a place in the Wolfpack. This story, though, is going to take place after the Wolfpack and the Chateau de Magnus have established themselves in the nation of Usama as these purveyors of scouts and hunters and guards to the other noble families of Usama. Ball, I don't believe, is very interested in that kind of work, simply working for people with money to keep their things safe. So, Ball.
Yeah, very true, very true.
What are your plans going forward?
Well, really after meeting those elves and their magic in the arena, he was very intrigued by how they come about their magic, what they do with it, the people there. It sounds entirely different from what he's experienced here. And he has gained access to this veteran elven archer through his sending stone. And he wants to start reaching out to him and maybe trying to find a way to get into this elven kingdom.
Yeah. Yeah. As with the sending stone and that ability to communicate directly with Vea, we'll call him, you start getting information about Galandior a little more. It's a city of elves, kept protected by illusion magic that keeps others out and only lets people in that they want to be let in. Over the weeks and months that the nation of Usama and the wild lands outside of it begin to knock heads, little skirmishes happen, not with Galandor, but with other things. The dragons in particular seem to be interested in causing a ruckus. Vea tells you that things are changing in Galandior. And if Ball ever wanted to come and see the cities for yourself, that time is running out for that. And he offers you an invitation to come to Galandior.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to ask him about this green gem that he gave me and whether or not that would be a useful tool to get there.
Yeah, that's basically a mark of Galandior is something that's only from there and is not meant for, outsiders. It's not something that it's not a commodity sold, but a token of friendship, really. And so he tells you that using that, you can at least begin your journey into the heart of Galandior. So it is the forest to the south, just before the mountains that go into the wastes. How does Ball get there?
Well, my first instinct is to clean off the spaceship and use it.
Yeah. How much time do you want to spend like trying to figure out a way to keep that stuff off? Because just physically taking it off, you can get it down pretty low, but in a day it just starts to grow more. It is a device that as you work with it, you are figuring out it just accelerates the growth of life, plant life in particular. Does Ball spend some time magically trying to figure out how to change that?
Yeah, I think his first instinct would be to unpower it, find a way to remove the silver liquid in it, and see if cleaning it after that has been expelled would maybe make it so it doesn't grow the way it has been, and maybe it can be more thoroughly cleaned.
Yeah, it takes a bit of time, but you have time and tools at your disposal. You work out how to remove the aether from the UFO, able to contain it. While you do that, a few drops do spill and cause a ruckus of growth where they have spilt and kind of fill the chamber with moss and lichen that you have to clean. But you get this large.
I've got a little carpenter that can help me with that.
Oh yeah, you've got the staff there. The carpenter Strix, is interested in it. He thinks it's neat. Able to clean it, but you see the actual liquid itself is what's causing that to happen. And so as you remove it and you can put it in a container, you can clean the UFO in it, and it no longer grows. It looks like that the UFO itself is the mechanism. It redirects some of this magical the magical effects of the aether. So pulling it out in this container, you're able to clean it, but without the aether, it has no power. So what's your plan with that?
I'm just so happy. I feel like I unlocked enough stuff to be able to do what I want to do. It's thrilling. Ball is very happy. He wants to ask his little carpenter friend whether or not she wants to stay here. There's a lot of world out there to explore. I'm going someplace that not many people have access to.
She, while she's cleaning up, she's, looking at the work you're doing, and she says, well, I mean, that sounds real fancy down there, but I've heard lots of stories of them elves down south, and hey, there's a lot of work here for me. I was never going to be able to do the things I thought I'd do working in town. The chateau here really boils me the right way. I get to create things for all the soldiers. I get to maintain this house. I'll keep it in good shape while you're out. And if you need a return, you make sure things look good for you, Ball.
Well, there's excellent people here that I feel like they treat you well, and I respect that decision.
Oh, I thank you. What are you hoping to find down there?
What is it? It's a whole new place. It's different than here. It's different from my home. I just want to learn.
Yeah. See, that's the part that kind of scares me. It's so different. I've been building things the way I've been building them for a long time, and you got a sense for something new, huh? Always. I hope you do well there in your travels, Ball.
I hope you learn to, find that kind of exploration for yourself too.
Hey, one of these days I just might. So with the UFO cleaned and a jar of aether, I pose the question again: how do you plan on getting down to the forests of Galandior?
Well, we got to refuel this thing. So last time we used the essentially like a refueling station kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how that works outside of that.
With your work pulling out the liquid, you're able to put it back. You can definitely do that. It takes a little bit of time and some magic work, but is easy to do. It's a mechanical contraption. You've worked with those before. This is different. This is new. It's exciting. The way it works. It all seems a bit backwards, but if you think that way, then things make sense. But you know that if you put this stuff in there, it's going to cause that same growth. So I think Ball spends some time and hires out a local mage to change some of the magics that are part of the UFO that make it do the things it does. You are able to remove some runes. You're able to put your own on.
Like add some metal plating in places to you keep the growth away.
Yeah, it's all these kind of organic like lines that they made of, but you've added these wrapped these pieces of metal around things you don't want to have happen, and put your own runic markings on there. And it's looking a bit more, scrapped together.
Like an artificer built it.
Yeah. It reminds you a bit of how, the UFO Julia had works. She had things kind of looped around and devices attached. They weren't as integrated as your work is. Maybe she didn't have enough time. You've got the time to do it. So it still keeps its kind of sleek look, but there's some big chunkiness to it. When you do that, you refuel the thing and go out for a test drive with it. The controls are a little more sluggish this way. You don't zoom forward quite as much. It kind of slowly drifts. And as it does, it's just this hint of green dust that falls behind it. All of that stuff it's trying to grow is diverted into like this big metal
exhaust
chunk. Yeah. And it's just kind of like dust that falls, little green leaves that have been mashed to bits and things like that. But it works.
Awesome. Yeah. Park it. Need to contact the college and let them know I'm going and what I hope to accomplish there. Find out if they have similar experiences in the Waste and talk about, I don't know, Warforged and whatever they want to hear.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you said some reports about what you found. They send back some information, scraps of odd like mechanical drawings that aren't native to where you're from. Looks like they've collected these from elsewhere that look similar to some of the devices you've seen, similar to this flying device, and are asking if you've seen things like this, and if so, to return to Storengrad.
I haven't seen anything like that exactly yet.
Yeah, you kind of you press them that more research needs to be done. You've got the designs in hand, and you'll be on the lookout for them. And they're happy with the reply. Everyone over in Storengrad for the most part, runs by everything's a cog in this massive machine that they are, and you've been a bit of a loose cog, but you turn when you need to turn, and you're turning at just the right momentum for them. And they send back that they are awaiting further notes and reports from Ball and Usama.
Perfect.
Allowing you to do what you want. So yeah, you take the flying machine and you just start heading down south to the forest.
Keeping a special close lookout for any interesting structures or mountains, beautiful waterfalls, stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, as you head down, you kind of pass by some of the big main roads of Usama. You see, ever so often there's merchants traveling about. There's some soldiers camped in the woods to the south.
What are their reactions to this flying saucer in the air?
I would say you've got like a merchant caravan headed down south to the wastes. They look up, and most of them kind of you stop and are trying to look. You're pretty. You can be pretty high up there. Just kind of surprised to see something floating in the air. They're just confused, asking themselves questions.
Just imagine like those really grainy pictures of UFOs and stuff, and that's just kind of what it looks like up there.
Oh, for sure. There are all kinds of stories gets told after this. It's like, oh yeah, it's flying south. I seen it with my eyes. Oh, Billy over there seen it too. Oh yeah, it was had some green dust flying underneath it. I don't know what that was. I think we gathered some, and it was just kind of melted in our hands. I don't know what it was. So yeah, the silver flying machine creates a bit of rumors in the taverns and inns about Usama. I would say as you get south, you do run past an encampment of Usama soldiers. They're on the southern border. Looks like they're there to scout to make sure no one's coming through the border and to cause a ruckus if anyone does. Some of their scouts start to track you as you kind of fly by, and you notice this. They have to keep up quite a pace to keep up with you. But you do see there's like 2 soldiers down below you as you're flying south, slowly getting to the border of Galandior.
I feel like this border is pretty well protected, and I want to try to lose them if I can. Like if there's like a big patch of trees or like a hillside I can go around that they can maybe not traverse as quickly, I would aim for that.
Yeah, you spend a bit of time, a good portion of the afternoon, kind of trying to duck into places you think they can't get to, and you can traverse up above cliffs pretty easily, and you eventually do lose them as you do. When you stop for the night to camp, it's a few days to get down there. You hear a odd sound, just a vroom. And as you look around, there is a robe-clad half-elf with a staff looking over the flying device and then looking to you and says, "By the authority of Usama and the arcane schools, what the hell is going on?"
Well, I'm Bol. I am an adventurer. I've been sent here by the College of Stonengrad, and I am looking for passage into the Elven Kingdom.
I see. Well, if you're not Usama, then I have no rights to tell you what to do. If you're working with the Galandorians, then you will be an enemy of Usama. Is that what you're doing, Mr. Ball?
I am looking to perhaps build a working relationship with them. I would be happy to pass along any information to Usama as I return. I am associated with the Wolf Pack. Maybe you've heard of them. We're quite an adventuring party.
Yes. The Warriors of Cord, I believe, are doing security work for some of the families.
This kind of ties into that kind of security, yes.
And are you telling the truth that you would give information to the school that you find out?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they kind of eye you up and down, and they look at the flying machine. Who says, "Well, again, the elves don't cause us much issue, but if they were to, we would very much appreciate some forewarning of that. Yes, if you have a means of contacting us, please do so. Otherwise, myself or another individual will contact you on a weekly basis. Please tell us if they are planning anything. The elves are not aggressive, but they are slow to action. I just don't want to see what that action is, if it does come down to it.
Yeah, yes. It is a contraption I came across in the wastes. We had done some exploring there, and I had fixed it.
I see. Many things are coming from the wastes these days, odd contraptions.
Yeah, that is part of my exploration, is to discover those contraptions and try and understand them and use them to the benefit of everyone.
I see. And you think your services are better spent with the elves? You don't want to work with the arcane school here and perhaps learn of other contraptions. We could use someone who knows how these things work. We're having some trouble in that department. We've come across a number of things that do not obey the conventions of magic as we know it.
Yeah, I'm also investigating those things, and I've passed that information along to your leaders, and I believe it's been dispersed. Most likely, some of the information you've heard has come from me.
Oh, I see. Well, if that is true, you've been a service to Usama. I'll be speaking with you soon, Ball. We'll be keeping eyes out. And then they vanish again, casting a teleport spell on themselves and leaving you in the kind of moonlit forest just north of the border from Galdior.
That was stressful.
Yeah. As they leave, you kind of take a moment to reflect, and the way they were dressed and the great quality of the staff that they wield. This was somebody who was a little higher up than a professor or a student. This is somebody that carried a bit of weight, sent to figure out what's going on.
Expect to hear something about that kind of thing.
Yeah. But the night concludes, and you spend the next day entering into Galandior. And it's not noticeable at first, but once you cross the border, the forest seems to grow as you move in, and it is tough to stay above the canopy, and eventually you can't do it, and you fall into the trees. Not fall, but your path is you can't seem to find the right path to get you where you want to go. And so you enter into the canopy. And once you do, you see this plethora of plants that shouldn't be growing here. It is much more like a jungle than it is like the forest, the like temperate forest that you just come from. There's colorful birds and odd little rodents that run around the floor of the forest. And you spend a good amount of time just taking it in, I think. There's odd little streams and waterfalls that speckle around this area. How long do you think you spend just kind of wandering this odd landscape?
Yeah, this is definitely an entirely new, everything. This kind of stuff doesn't exist anywhere I've been. Yeah. I would want to soak that in for a little bit and just kind of see how it feels.
Yeah.
Maybe even a couple hours.
Yeah, you spend a few hours doing that, and it doesn't feel like it's this short amount of time, really just kind of looking at the stuff, but night descends upon you almost immediately after that. Like you spent the entire day just looking at all this odd fauna and flora, and you make camp. You see an odd bit of light kind of start up, and when night happens, underneath the canopy are these odd phosphorescent insects that kind of awaken and fly around during the night. Interested in your flying device, they kind of come over and land and kind of cover it, and they stay there till morning when they go back into the canopy. And this cycle of viewing the forest and resting continues for about a week.
Oh, wow.
It's tough to shake what's going on. Like ever so often you catch yourself, you're like, wait, I've been trying to get somewhere. And then you see something and it distracts you and that thought's gone. It takes you about a week to really consolidate on that idea again so that you can shake yourself aware of what's going on, that some sort of magic is affecting you in this forest. And when that happens, what do you do when that happens? You're able to reclaim your senses at that point.
I don't know. I think my first thought would be I need to contact what did you say his name? Vesa?
Vea.
Be like, hey, I've reached the border of Galandur, and I'm just so in awe of this place. I can't seem to find you. Can you help?
They respond back, yes, you've reached our borders then. I'm glad you're enjoying the sights. They can be a little overwhelming to those not familiar with them. If you're trying to find me and you are there should be a red and blue bird ever so often. Follow their path. If you do that, eventually that will lead you to a place you can rest and I can find you.
Okay. Yeah. I'll look for that. I feel like I would have to do this on foot.
Well, with birds and, they're flying and you have a flying machine, it's easy enough to keep an eye out for them. If there was fully covered in vines and stuff, maybe it would be a little more difficult, but you do, there's a lot of colorful birds, but you see the one that Vea's talking about, this, kind of parrot looking thing, red with a blue stripe on one wing. And you follow that for a few hours. You see one and it kind of stops to rest, and you see another one flying a different direction. You follow that one. And as you're doing this, you can kind of see what's going on, that they're following a certain like winding path through the forest, where, the leaves kind of shift differently than the rest of the forest does. They are affected by their own wind, it seems like. And it takes you a few hours and you end up heading down into a little valley that, once it kind of opens up, you can get above the canopy again, and you see this massive tower at the bottom of this with huge tree limbs growing out of it, and it is covered in vines and leaves, and there's some stonework underneath that you can see, and it reminds you of the Tower of Chaos. It's the same setup, but this is like a massive conglomeration of different plants just attached to it. You see at the bottom base of it, these massive roots just kind of roil out and into the ground, and that is where you see a number of elven buildings just dotting the outside of this thing, and you see elven people going about their business.
Sounds like a living Tower of Chaos kind of place, like before like the tree died and like the material got in there and killed it and grew it and like took its energy that way. It kind of reminds me of that same kind of thing. Yeah, I'm gonna go land near the base of that big tower, like right in the middle. Why not?
Yeah, you float on down, and you see there's elf kind of tending to this raised little farm plot that you see in the middle of it, kind of water spurting out and watering the crops, and then they like the water falls down beneath the sides. It looks like it's recirculating magically. Kind of lifts up their hat and looks at the flying device and is just taken aback by this. He says, "Oh, hello. That's an odd thing there. I haven't seen one of those in many lifetimes. And a metal man. Hello. What brings you here?"
I'm Paul. I
Oh,
yeah. I am from Stoninggrad. I don't know if you've.
I don't think I've heard of that. No.
It is a college. We're researchers.
Oh,
we try to learn and bring things to light and understand.
Good to learn. Yeah. What brings you here? We don't get many visitors. The magics tend to keep them away, but if you're here, then there must be a reason why.
I'm here to meet a friend.
It's good to meet friends. Good to meet friends. Well, you seem like you've got a strong back on you. Would you help me till some of these fields here?
Yeah, sure. As long as until my friend gets here, I'm willing to put in some labor. Yeah, why not?
Sounds like a deal. You help me until your friend gets here. And you spend the rest of the day just working the soil. It is an odd kind of bean that grows underground that this guy is kind of harvesting up and then turning the soil over for the next crop rotation. And with your help, you're able to clear out this like 50 by 50 plot by the end of the day. He takes you into his home. He's got there's a few other people that live there with him, and you sit down for a meal as he thanks you for your work. There's some nice wine.
Absolutely, this is awesome. Just want to share like a few stories of my adventures so far. I let him know, I was in Usama for a while. That's where I met my friend, Vesa. Yeah. Yeah. I was to the Wastes. That's where that flying ship came from. You said you've seen them before.
Yes. Terrible with the wastes, as they call it. It used to be so nice down there. Much like this.
I feel like it might be getting better. We visited a tower much like the one by your crop, and it was in ruins, disheveled and destroyed almost. But
when you say that, you see this just kind of look of hurt and pain on him when you mention that. He says, "Oh, that is a shame. A ruined tower is people not understanding what they have. You see, these towers, they can provide everything. They've provided for us for so long. Hopefully it does get better, but if you don't know how to talk with the towers, I don't know if they will. You got to know how to have a conversation with the magics in them, and if you don't, they get very angry."
We met a caretaker of that tower. They had been there before the tower was ruined, and they had lost much of their memory before that.
I see. But they could converse. They were still with us.
Yeah, we helped him, and we gave him a body so that he was only a kind of a soul or a spirit. He was just a part of a man, I guess. And
I see.
We kind of helped him become a little more. Does he need to be in that tower?
Oh, I'm not sure. If the tower is in ruins, then I don't know how much he could be useful there. Oh, we thank you for giving him a body, a means to traverse this world. The
Is
spirit in
there
this one here provides what we need, and we provide it what it needs. Whoever this is that you saved, I'm sure that whatever they need and whatever they want to give, they will be open about.
so you have someone like that in your tower?
Well, the tower itself, really. A spirit, a mind, a body, all rests in the tower. There's many things that the tower is. A man rarely is mentioned as being a tower. It is the structure itself, it's the plants that grow from it, it's the relationship it has with us. It's more than just one thing.
You said it gives you things and you give it things. What kind of things do you exchange?
Well, it provides us the resources to grow the crops we need, the life-giving power to feed the plants and animals that we enjoy, and we give it laughter, games, conversation, whatever it is in the mood for. Sometimes it's changing on the day, and sometimes it's needs rest for a long period of time. We ask it what it needs, and we try our best to give it to them.
Do you think I could speak with it?
I think that might be a good thing. We'll find out tomorrow. And you wrap up your night. You tell stories. You have a drink with the man and his family. And the next day, Vea arrives, finding the house and you out working in the field, and hails to you. He says, "Ah, Ball, there you are."
I kind of like finish up what I'm working on and just kind of like nod at him. And then only after I kind of finish the last of the plow, I go over and say hi.
He's standing there at the edge. He waits for you. He says, "Oh, well, it seems you found a means of keeping busy. I'm sorry it took so long to get here. I'm glad you've come. A lot of things are changing for Galandior soon. It would be nice to have someone like you here. There's some things we were going to revisit that some of us don't remember, and those that do, like your friend there, don't care to talk about anymore." Well,
Changing it how? This pace is really relaxing. It's nice. It feels good.
that's true. The wish is always to end up in a life like this. I still have much work to do before I feel I'm no longer needed in my capacity. And he kind of gives a hand and waves over to the farmer and calls out, "Speaker, I'm here to visit with my friend Ball." And he kind of finishes what he's doing, wipes off his clothes. He says, "Oh, you're the one that's here to meet our friend. Well, if that's the case, maybe we should go talk to the tower in the tree, huh?" And the farmer kind of takes off his coat that he was wearing, adorns himself in some long flowing robes, and the three of you start walking up the edge of the tower. You can see that the vines and the tree roots that are there kind of make a walkway, and you kind of spiral up to the very top of this thing, where big tree limbs come out from the sides and create a massive canopy on the top of this. And there is a stone in the center with some runes, some of which you recognize from the wastes, and a small pool of water in the center of it. And as you get there, the farmer walks up to the stone, begins speaking in Elvish for a few minutes as you see stones and runes kind of light up around the edges. And like you've seen with Florian, that pool of water raises up this humanoid visage. And the farmer speaks to it and says, "Hello. It has been some time since we spoke. A friend has come, and his friend has come as well. They wanted to speak with you. Please." And the farmer steps away, and this odd water form looks to you and Vea and just says, "We'll speak then."
My name is Bull. I'm a researcher of magic and machine. I've come to learn what I can from you, I guess. It might be of note to you that I have discovered another tower that was more or less in ruin, but we met someone similar to you. We named him Florian.
A long-lost cousin, I assume. Ah, interesting. You've come to learn from me. What do you hope to learn?
Whatever you have to offer, I guess. I don't know. I've come to meet these people here, and it's a good vibe.
I would say so. It's a lovely place here. The people here are fantastic, and have you seen them? They take the fruits and they'll crush them up, and then they let them sit for a while, and they drink it, and they love it. They're so interesting. Well, if you've come to learn from me, I should begin teaching. Do you know about grass?
Yes,
Okay, well then we won't do grass. How about birds? And they start listing like all these different things. And it gets a little exhausting kind of hearing, because you hear it from like multiple places almost. And Vea kind of pipes up and says, excuse me, Mr. Ball is more focused in the arcane arts, not the illusion magics essentially, but some of the other magics that you offer to the people. And if I'm allowed, I would like to speak with you. We've talked to most of the other spirits of the towers, and we will be shifting soon. And the kind of water spirit looks at them and giggles a bit and says, "Oh, I know all about your shifting. We do speak with each other every so often. The others can be fickle, but I just go where the winds take me." Ball, you said your friend is speaking of a shift, a change we are all making. We all once came from the Feywild, the embodiment, the plane of life, and we've settled here for a while. Things are changing, and we're headed back. If you'd like to come with us, I'll teach you about the magics I know, and the magics I don't know. I'm sure there's many.
When this shift does happen, what will be left here?
Oh, the forest that once was. We've changed it some, and your elven friends there have made a fun, exciting illusion of what we prefer to see. But that will all go away once we leave, once we shift, once we go back home. It'll be boring, I'm sure, and not full of life, but we're taking all the fun bits with us.
By fun bits, you mean the magics, right?
That's some of the fun bits, yes. But like I said, those fruits that they crush up, we're taking those too. And there's a couple of rocks I want to make sure and bring with. And it kind of points up. It says, that one right there, I'm very excited about. You're going to turn, and it's this odd, craggy mountain peak that they're pointing to.
Like a big mountain.
Yeah.
Big rock.
Yeah. That big rock looks very nice. I do enjoy the look of it. So, are you going to be coming with us then?
When you say you're going to take things like that rock, that mountain,
Yes.
and you're just going to pick it up and leave whatever's left behind?
Oh, you do need teaching and magics. Well, yes, when we shift, we will be bringing all of that with us. In not the way you might be thinking of, to take things to another plane. You don't have to pick them up. You just have to take them there. You don't have to touch them. You take them. Let me show you. Vea, we are ready, are we not? And Vea nods, and you see a glow kind of emanating from the water that fills the tower. Off in the distance, you see some lights kind of peeking up in the canopy. That craggy rock you see kind of fill with light, and it bursts into this blinding white light and then comes back. And everything you see is just brighter in color, but nothing has really changed. Everything looks about the same. Some of the mountains are gone. The forest itself is still there. But then you look up and the sky is like purple and blue and pink and swirls, not of clouds, but the sky itself has changed in these amazing colors. And from there, Ball gets to explore and learn from some very powerful beings about magic. These are beings that are the towers, that are spirits, and when you get here, they are no longer ethereal and see-through. They are giant frogs or a huge boulder person. The spirits here in the Feywild take their true forms, and you learn magic from this tower that is just a massive frog, and they teach you about some really good illusion magic, things like that.
Oh my god.
You have the freedom to leave this place. They don't keep you here, but there are many things to learn from this shift into the Feywild.
Yeah, I want to learn whatever I can from these spirits, I guess. These like almost deities, it sounds like. They have like that much power.
They're very powerful. Yeah. Not deities in the pantheon, but spirits that, their will forms the Feywild, at least here. And Ball spends a good chunk of time learning magics here and tinkering with the technology that you find in this place. Old remnants that they had that can now be used again from your knowledge of how Aether works. And you gain an appreciation of the natural world, and you show them your appreciation of the tinkerings of mechanics.
Cool. I am so down.
Yeah. Beyond that, who knows what's in store for Ball, but
I think that's an excellent place for him to be.
Yeah, that is where we're going to go ahead and land Ball's epilogue right there. Hey, thank you guys for joining us around our proverbial podcast table and doing this outro with Ball. I've been your DM, Alex.
I've been Milo as Ball.
Grab your swords and keep on adventuring.
Follow us across all platforms with Chaotic Amateurs. Please subscribe, rate, and review our show on your podcast app of choice to help us climb the charts and find new adventurers. Or become a patron on Patreon to help our heroes continue their quest. Thank you for listening to Chaotic Amateurs.